Wow. Much love and respect to everybody who's tuned in. Thanks for being here. Yeah, I was supposed to go live yesterday with my Hootie Mail meditation show, and the person canceled on me, but it's okay. Something came up. I wanted to come live today. I've been getting a lot of questions from new subscribers. asking me, information I've gone over in past videos and stuff. So I just like to go a little recap, what we've been through the journey and some pretty cool things. The tool that we found here. We're gonna show you some animations today. Pretty cool. Just a couple of pictures. I'm gonna do a whole series on that eventually. Go over some information we've gone over before. And I found this great album in the Harvard archives. It seems like they're little by little releasing more and more images and stuff, or where they're hiding the stuff. For some reason, this wasn't available before. You didn't know where it was coming from. But yeah, I just wanted to show you guys that. Thanks for being here. This shouldn't be long. All right. So just going over some old images that we've had here. All right, just giving people some time to join. Much love and respect to everybody who's tuned in again. All right, it's nothing new, but we keep learning. It's been a long journey. And before I begin, just wanted to go ahead and let me see. All right. So this is my channel again. I just wanted to show for the new subscribers, just in case you don't know, and also the old ones. I have a couple of playlists here where you can go to right in the home page. You'll see these tabs: home, video, playlist, and you'll be able to go to the playlist. And this one right here, from Indigenous American to African American. I'm not sure if I'm screen sharing correct. Bear with me. Screen sharing. All right, we're just gonna jam a little bit real quick. Trying to get this going, but at least let's enjoy the music. Bear with me. All right, I think we got it shared now. All right, so again, I was just saying, you didn't catch me. I'm sorry. I don't know how much you guys. So this is the home page. Want to show you guys I have some tabs here for all the new subscribers and the old ones. There's some playlists here, and different ones. Different videos I got. You can see things in order. So we got this series from Indigenous American to African American. You can get the whole playlist in order and watch it. We've gone over a lot of information before. That's me back in the day. All right, so we got this, I guess, will be part 22. Is really is just a recap we wanted to do today and show you some cool animations. Want to say hi because I didn't go live yesterday. All my new subscribers asking a lot of questions. All right, so I mean, it's a long journey. These parts, they're very specific. The way I uploaded them and everything. We go into the historical anthropological books, what they found here, and archaeology, bones, the oral histories, the misclassifications, but first-hand accounts, primary sources. We're gonna get a little bit of that today. We're gonna get a little bit of the part 1 and 2, real quick images, the ODB interview, because they actually censored me on the ODB part, on part one of this. They actually took out the sound. They censored us, so I'm gonna play that fully today. So hope you guys ain't gonna get bored. We're just gonna get it like it's the first time. This series, we go over so many things, the different ways that somebody could go from Indigenous American to being labeled African American today. All right, so if you haven't caught all these videos, if you're new here, just make sure to go through it, take the time. I would recommend going in order, because it was a journey. We were learning and everything. You can see the progress and everything. A lot of good information. We go over a lot of good books, different things. We go over the enslavement of the American Indian, who was the Spanish, the French, the English, all these people really enslaving when they were coming over here. They were going in Africa. We know eventually that they were bringing indentured servants, but they also had a local population here to take advantage of, colonize and use for free labor, and that's what happened. All right. We go over the different status laws and how it was changing, how you're going from Indian to mulatto to colored, eventually to Negro, African American, and all the laws that were put into place for that to happen. So make sure to catch the full series if you can. All right. Just vibe out a little bit real quick. So yeah, much love and respect to everybody who's tuned in. Yeah, no judging, no stereotyping, no prejudice views, no racism, no generalizing. You don't know, you don't know. Can't point fingers. You gotta point fingers at yourself first. Your own genealogy. Everybody has to do their own genealogy. There's a different story in everybody's family. Not everybody has the same story. All right. So we're at this website right here. It's from the Harvard, actually, University. All right, the Harvard Gazette, it says here. And I was going through some images on the internet, and I found this, and I was like, wow, what is this? So it says here, in 1879, 3 years after George Armstrong Custer died in battle at the Little Bighorn, Harvard purchased 2 albums of photographs that included rare images of American Indians, American Indian world that was even then vanishing rapidly. Assembled by the U.S. Department of the Interior in 1877, these 2 volumes were intended to partially document the Indians of North America. Since the 1850s, among the 1,005 images are photos of customs, crafts, and dwellings, but especially of warriors, wives, maidens, children, and chiefs. All right. In an email, Castle McLaughlin, associate creator of the North American ethnography at Harvard's Peabody Museum of Archaeology and Ethnology, called the photos of the chiefs very rare, and in most cases virtually unique, images of some of the most important Plains leaders of their day. All right, so they're letting you know the time frame, why they did it, and the location. Kinda, they're saying Plains. Plains is just it's a landmass, not a tribe, so you can't say Plains Indians. But yeah, people living in the Plains, I guess, and so we know, because a lot of you probably, well, where's the other Indians? Where's the Monkey? Where's this? And where's the Wampanoag? Where's, this album? They're letting you know it's not from these people. So we're just looking over what's in this album. Hope you enjoy. If you don't, hey, nothing I can do about it. That's the ones they had in this album. I'm sure as time goes, we're gonna see a lot more and more albums pop out of nowhere. All right. So I clicked on the 2 albums. And I found they had it all archived here again. Harvard Library, the Harvard Library, they've been holding this whole time. Yeah, they've been holding this. Let me just read this real quick. And it says here, prefatory note, Office of United States Geological and Geographical Survey of the Territories, Washington, D.C., November 1st, 1877. Again, much love and respect to everybody tuned in. Thank you for the donation. Much love, Brother Redbird. Right, and much love, Blue Sky, for the donation. Thank you very much. And all the real ones in the chat, welcome. Hope you guys having a a blessed Shabbat Saturday with your family, relaxing. All right, it says here the collection of photographic portraits of North American Indians described in the following catalog is undoubtedly the largest and most valuable one extant. I don't think it's the largest, they're just saying this at this time. It has been made at great labor and expense during a period of about 25 years and now embraces over 1,000 negatives, representing no less than 25 tribes. Many of the individuals portrayed have meanwhile died. Others, from various causes, are not now accessible. The opportunity of securing many of the subjects, such as scenes and incidents, has, of course, passed away, the collection being thus unique and not to be reproduced at any expenditure of money, time, or labor. Its value for ethnological purposes cannot easily be overestimated. This is priceless, all right? Now that the tribal relations of these Indians are fast being successively sundered by the process of removal to reservations, which so greatly modifies the habits and particularly the style of dress of the Aborigines, the value of such a graphic record of the past increases year by year, and there will remain no more trustworthy evidence of what the Indians have been that afforded by these faithful sun-pictured, many of which represent the villages, dwellings, and modes of life, these most interesting people and historical incidents of the respective tribes, as well as the faces, dresses, and accoutrements of many prominent individuals. Those who have never attempted to secure photographs and measurements or other details of the physique of the Indians, in short, any reliable statistics of individuals or bands can hardly realize the obstacles to be overcome. The American Indian is extremely superstitious, and every attempt to take his picture is rendered difficult, if not entirely frustrated, by his deeply rooted belief that the process places some portion of himself in the power of the white man, and his suspicion that such control may be used to his injury. All right, you hear that? So a lot of you probably notice how these people look like they don't really want to take these pictures. And a lot of people already know, a lot of you guys already knew this, how, it was superstitious. It was for them. They didn't think, they didn't want to record their soul on the image. That goes back from ancient times. Why? Idols, images, do not worship images. Where does that come from? Where is this, you know? And so as you can see, they're letting you know they must have forced a lot of these people to, take the pictures then. So a lot of the time they probably look very upset. No prescribed regulations for the taking of photographs, therefore, are likely to be fully carried. All right, just real quick. Much love and respect to everybody tuned in. Wow. Ancestors calling. Wow. Thank you, Great Spirit. Tawada. Wow. Let's continue. As a rule, front and profile views have been secured whenever practicable. Usually it is only when the Indian is subjected to confinement that those measurements of his person which are suitable for anthropological purposes can be secured. In most cases, the Indian will not allow his person to be handled at all, nor submit to any inconvenience whatever. Much tact and perseverance are required to overcome his superstitious notions. And in many cases, even of the most noted chiefs of several tribes, no portrait can be obtained by any inducement whatever. All right. Some just completely refused. They were forcing people to take images and pictures. If therefore the collection fails to meet the full requirements of the anthropologist, it must be remembered that the obstacles in the way of realizing his ideal of a perfect collections are insurmountable. A lot of you are like always like, what's up with the other pictures? Where's the other pictures of the other people? Well, just you heard it right here. Maybe they didn't want the picture taken. All right. About 200 of the portraits, or one-fifth of the whole collection, have been derived from various sources, and most of these are pictures of Indians composing the several delegations that have visited Washington from time to time during the past 10 years. Such individuals are usually among the most prominent and influential members of their respective tribes, of which they consequently furnish the best samples. The greater portion of the whole collection is derived from the munificent liberality of William Blackmore, Esquire of London, England, the eminent anthropologist who has for many years studied closely the history, habits, and manners of the North American Indians. The Blackmore portion of the collection consists of a number of smaller lots from various sources, and it is Mr. Blackamore's intention to enlarge it to include, if possible, all the tribes of North American continent. All right, so this is just a little preface of this book. To the next page, talks about the Algonquins here, one of the largest, it says here, and then it talks about northeast of Dakotas. Okay, so let's read this a little bit, right? Let's jam a little bit though. Just jamming in. Hopefully, everybody's enjoying, vibing. And it says here Algonquins. Early in the 17th century, the Algonquins were the largest family of the North American Indians within the present limits of the United States, extending from Newfoundland, sorry, to the Mississippi, and from the waters of the Ohio at Hudson's Bay and Lake Winnipeg. Northeast and northwest of them were the Eskimos and the Athabascas. The Dakotas bounded them on the west, and the Mobilian tribes, the Catawbas, the Natchez, and on the south. Within this region also dwelled the Iroquois and many detached tribes from the other families. All the tribes of the Algonquins were nomadic, shifting from place to place as the fishing and hunting upon which they depend required. There had been some difficulty in properly locating the tribe from which their family has taken its name, but it's generally believed they lived on the Ottawa River in Canada, where they were nearly exterminated by their enemies, the Iroquois. The only remnant of the tribe at this time is at the Lake of the Two Mountains. Of the large number of tribes forming this family, many are now extinct, others so reduced and merged into neighboring tribes as to be lost, while nearly all of the rest have been removed far from their original hunting grounds. The Lenape from the Delaware are now leading a civilized life far out on the Great Plains west of the Missouri, and with them are the Shawnees from the south and the once powerful Potawatomis, Ottawas, and the Miamis from the Ohio Valley. Of the many nations forming this great family, we have a very full representation in the following catalog, but equally divided between the wild hunters and the civilized agriculturists. All right, so that was a little info. And then it talks about the Cheyenne. This nation has received a variety of names from travelers and the neighboring tribes as Cheyennes, 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 Taras, Chaways, Chartiers, and by the different bands of Dakotas, Cheyenne or Chayela. With the Blackfeet, they are most western branch of the great Algonquin family. When first known, they were living on the Cheyenne or Cheyenne River, a branch of the Red River of the North, and were driven west of the Mississippi by the Sioux. And about the close of the last century, still farther west across the Missouri, where they were found by those enterprising travelers, Lewis and Clark, in 1803. On their map attached to their report, they locate them near the eastern face of the Black Hills in the valley of the Great Cheyenne River, and state their number at 1,500 souls. Their first treaty with the United States was made in 1825 at the mouth of the Tenton River. They were then at peace with the Dakotas, but warring against the Pawnees and others. Were then estimated by Drake to number 3,250. During the time of Long's expedition to the Rocky Mountains in 1819-1820, a small portion of the Cheyennes seemed to have separated themselves from the rest of their nation on the Missouri and to have associated themselves with the Arapajos, who wander about the tributaries of the Platte and Arkansas, while those who remain affiliated with the Ogalas. These two divisions remain separated until the present time. Steps are now being taken, however, to bring them together on a new reservation in the Indian territory. So, they were making all these plans for all these tribes. They're trying to summarize their history. All right, so that was a little history of, who the tribes were dealing with, who they surrounded by. All right, so then it says some names here, and supposedly these are the names of the next people in the next image. Now, they didn't show us no Algonquin because they started out with Algonquin, so I don't know if they took that part out and stuff, or they're not having here, but they said it's in this catalog. So real quick, just to show you what's in this catalog. All right, I know there's a lot of different images here, a lot of different types of phenotypes and people here. Not all of them you guys might agree with, but most of these people are very dark complexion, copper color skin. All right, we have a lot of these that get shared on the internet today in the different Aboriginal sites and Instagram pages, and a lot of them don't really realize where they're coming from, these images, or who these people are. All right, you can see here I've colorized many of these images. All right, we already know what they look like. Very dark complexion people. All right, there's also different types of people again mixed in here. All right, but there's, as you can find, very dark-skinned individuals. Today would be classified as, colored, Negro, African American. Just cut their hair, and they white it in your neighborhood where there's a large population of what so-called black people, what they're labeled you as, and he would just fit right in. I'm just gonna show you a couple because I've colorized some selected ones. Just want to show you that I'm not trying to skip or anything. Just want to show you what's in here. All right, and I've colorized this person right here. I think they got let me see the page before, just so you guys can see. So they labeled the people. So we have here 692 Kwakwa of Peka, or Dead Indian. Really, is that his name? They're saying this is him right here, Kwakwa. Kwakwa. Right, so somebody's asking for the name of the book. It's called Photographs of North American Indians, circa 1850, 1879, volume 1 and 2. This is from the Tozer Library Special Collections in Harvard University. So here's the name right here, up here. Like you take a screenshot of anything, you can have it and look for it. It's free. It's for the public. They just don't advertise stuff like this. You know, I colorized him. He's very dark complexion, him. Wow, much love to all the producers who send me beats. Some of them are custom made. Most of them I purchased. I bought the license for so I can be able to play them on the videos. All right, thanks for the donations. Thanks to you guys for the donations. I can be able to do that, get some great music, buy some great books, and keep me going with the research and all that, and with the presentations. I appreciate it. This song right here is from Joseph Levels. Much love and respect, brother. Thanks. All right. So I just wanted to show you what's in that book. There's a lot more. There's like over 400 images in there. All right, and just want to show you guys what I did. I colorized some of them, so you guys can take a look and zoomed into their faces. The program does that on its own. All right. Yeah, so it's not as simple as saying, Europeans came and took over the land from us. Who's the us, and who's the Europeans? Again, if you're new to my information, if you're new to the channel, go over the videos we've gone over. We're doing a recap today of some of the older videos that I started out with, a series called From Indigenous American to African American, to show you that there was all types of uh, different phenotypes and complexions here, not just what we grew up seeing as Native Americans or Indians, so-called Indians or so-called Native Americans. There was very dark-skinned Indians that were being compared to so-called Negroes, being compared to Africans, Malaysians. We're gonna go over that info right after this. Again, just get it for like the first time. But you gotta also remember there was hundreds of thousands of Black Europeans that came. It wasn't about a white or black thing. At first, it's a lot more to understand. You got to do your own genealogy. You got to see. You most likely have both of these lines in you. Just got to do your own genealogy. You never know what you're gonna find there. I've been learning a lot doing people's genealogy, finding so much. I wish I can just show you guys every time I did a genealogy, but it's private stuff, so I don't want to. But it's just a lot of correlation and proof of what we're researching and all that. So it's not just generalized biased history, one-sided, like we've been receiving from most of all the camps, all the doctrines, all the schools of thought. Suppose what you call schools of thought, and it's always like, I am this and I am that, and we're this and we're that, and a lot of generalization, and a lot of conjecture based on the wrong things. So I'm just trying to make you think like somebody else says, right? Just trying to make you think. All right. And there's a lot of things to think about, not just one subject or not just one grammar. All right. But again, we're going over the old information. Just know that, yeah, America was the land of the copper colored races. It said the stronghold of the copper colored races, as we've already learned, many different shades of copper, from the lightest copper to the darkest hues of copper, were here. All right. So just, we're going to go over some information here from parts 1 and 2 of my From Indigenous American to African American video. All right. And we're gonna start out with ODB. Yeah, old dirty bastard, man. They censored us on the first video of this. They took out the audio, so a lot of people hasn't been able to hear his part of the interview. So yeah, they took it out. He's gonna let us know that he's from the Shinnecock Indians. All right. So let me just start out with this image.
So, in reference to the Shinnecock tribe, right? Just wanted to show you something. I know you guys know a lot about, rap, and you know who Old Dirty Bastard is, right? So, in reference to the Shinnecock tribe, as you see here, now here's a little bit of the ancestral history to Old Dirty Bastard.
All right. So before we get into that, I just want to show you guys. We've colorized this image before. Let me just show you that. Right. So here's the image. No, I brought that video out a long time ago. Well, not a long time ago, but years ago. And I never thought I could start colorizing these images and really get to see and what the people really look like and stuff. All right. So again, this is the Shinnecock tribe in Long Island, New York. The Shinnecock tribe and people. All right. Of course, in those albums from Harvard, they don't have the Shinnecock or any, most of any of the, East Coast tribes or other tribes. There's so many other tribes. I wish you guys knew how many tribes there were that you guys never heard of. And so we're always generalizing like, oh, like there was only 2 or 3 tribes, like Cherokee, Blackfoot, Seminole, or, Iroquois or Algonquin, but there was so many other tribes, and these people were, people of color, people that they would consider so-called Negro today, African Americans, and you've never even heard of their tribe. They got misclassified, and a lot of them had to take on, the title of Cherokee and Blackfoot, because those were the only tribes being recognized or being accepted, right? It's the 5 civilized tribes. Who made them civilized? All right. So this is again the image that I was just showing in that video. Just want to show another real quick image that we've colorized as well. This came out in a recent video. All right. They're also in this image. So these 2 individuals are in this group in the Shinnecock. They were in this image, and we were able to, like, with the software MyHeritage, they enhance the faces. Sometimes you get lucky and it does a good job. Sometimes it's all right. It messes up one of the eyes or something, but in general we can kind of see the phenotype and what it kind of looked like. So yeah, these 2 individuals were in that group right there, as you can see. Again, the Shinnecock tribe. I'm gonna go back to the video. Right.
The drugs, the crime, the poverty. These were tough neighborhoods, but there were also places where his family had been for countless generations. In fact, Dirty could trace his lineage back to a time when there was no New York City, just the wilderness of North America. He was 1/4 Shinnecock Indian.
Then he started mentioning things that y'all didn't understand. He said he got a grandfather Cuffy, Chief Cuffy. Let me take you to Chief Cuffy. Him and his brothers, Fred Cuffy and them, they were some wild boys back in the day.
My great-grandfather was an Indian chief, Shinnecock, from the Shinnecock Reservation in Long Island, Riverhead. So that's where my mother met my father in Long Island. Dirty just carried his heritage to the limit, we're Indians. I say, and then he used to say, yeah, we Indians, we sold Manhattan. I said, well, listen, they sold Manhattan for trinkets. So he always said, well, we're going to try to get it back. I said, Rusty, please. You're not getting it back, so forget it. The Indian that sold Manhattan to the white man, my grandfather.
So you heard it, Old Dirty Bastard, his mom, Shinnecock, his grandfather. All right, he even sang it in the rap song you just heard there. All right, so you can see there's a lot of history here in New England with copper-colored tribes.
I'm talking about Chief Cuffy. That's my mother's farm. Now I'm telling you my grandmother, her father, it's history.
In Long Island. So that's where my mother met my father in Long Island. Dirty just carried his heritage to the limit, we're Indians. I say, and then he used to say, yeah, we Indians, we sold Manhattan. I said, well, listen, they sold Manhattan for trinkets. So he always said, well, we're going to try to get it back. I said, Rusty, please. You're not getting it back, so forget it. The Indian that sold Manhattan to the white man, my grandfather.
So you heard it, Old Dirty Bastard, his mom, Shinnecock, his grandfather. All right, he even sang it in the rap song you just heard there. All right, so you can see there's a lot of history here in New England with copper-colored tribes. You know.
I'm talking about Chief Cuffy. That's my mother's father. Now I'm talking about my grandmother, her father. It's history. That's Reverend Militant. Now Reverend Militant, he had a church. He started the first Baptist church.
He died at 103. Was never seen now. Always knew what he's talking about. But he was back in slavery time. Back in slavery time. And to hear him speak of what happened, it was, I just couldn't believe it. But he was free, and he came up to New York to find a place for my grandmother.
This was his area when he came up from the south, all up down here. Right about here. This is where my grandfather's house was, right here. This is Bridge Street, and this is where his house was sitting at in the 1900s.
So I got two historic legacies in my family, on my grandmother's side and my grandfather's side. So imagine these two people get together and have children. That's where we come from. That's where Dirty come from. That's where Ray Ray come from. That's where 12 come from. Shitty, Murray, all up down the line.
He was the first one that I ever heard, you know, go on the TV, national television, and say that the black man is God. You know, and that right there was on the Arsenio Hall show.
Yo, the black man is God! The black man is God!
The government brainwash our people with the mind control theory. That's what they do. So to make sure our people like it, they keep playing that same song. The same song keep playing, you start to like it. You start to get probed with it. You start to get cloned with it. So then for the clone exists, then it just takes over. It takes over the human body. It takes over the spirit. It takes over the soul. And therefore, behold, that's what you got. That's why Dirty is here for. Dirty here just to keep it dirty. Dirty, 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 where we all come from.
I'm not crazy at all, okay? Everybody always saying that Dirty is crazy. Dirty is not crazy at all.
When he, in the concert, when he went to the studio and he asked somebody for a painkiller. And that's what did it. They gave him the painkiller. And he never woke up. He never woke up.
I only drink water. That's the only thing I drink. Really? Yeah. Because you had a drinking problem for a while or something? Well, nothing really. It just, you know, the Indians don't really get too along with the fire water, and you know.
Are you an Indian?
Yes. Oh, really?
Oh,
I thought you were a black guy. Hey. You're Indian? Yeah. Oh, come on, man. Yeah. You gotta be kidding me.
What kind of Indian are you?
Like Tonto Indian?
Shinnecock Indian.
Really? You're Shinnecock?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't know you're Shinnecock.
You could have fooled me.
That's the kind I am. Hey. So you should be Big Chief Bastard, not older.
His family was here when Columbus.
So you are not a black man, you're an Indian?
I'm an Indian.
No kidding. Now this is a shock.
We are learning more today.
Hey, you look totally black.
Yeah, I was definitely Indian.
Wow.
Definitely. So the Indians and the Firewater don't get along, you know that.
So there you go, from his own words. He's a Shinnecock Indian. And you thought so. The good thing is, I was actually able to find this book in Spanish, and let's read it together. So this is the cover of the book, Estudios Arqueológicos y Etnográficos. So let's get right into it. Alright, so I went to right to page 23, chapter 5, and it says here, Los Negroides en America, or the Negroes in America. Alright, so this is the part that I'm going to translate. So take a look at it. So what I did is I copy pasted this and brought it to Google Translate. Alright, let's take a look. So it translates to, says, several isolated but concordant facts allow us to suppose that before the formation and development of the three great ethnographic groups of which we have just spoken, the Pampas, Andeans, and Caribs, a large part of America was occupied by an inferior race of Negroid type. Okay? The conquerors found scattered throughout the New World small tribes that from the first moment were, and continuing, this is what I'm going to translate now, continuing. So again, remember we ended up with were, so again it continues, were considered as belonging to the black race. Such were, for example, the Otomi from Mexico, the snails from Haiti, the Argajos from Cutara, the Arabos from Orinoco, the Porcejis and the Malayas from Brazil, the Manatus, Quito, the Chuanas, the Darien, etc. Stuff in the book. Now I want to reference this other book. It's called Crania Americana, a comparative view, skulls of various aboriginal nations of North and South America. This page, it says, a copper-colored skin has been assumed by most writers as a characteristic distinction of the Americans, who have hence been called the copper-colored race. We consider, therefore, says Dr. McCullough, that the color of the American Indians in general is brown. Right? What's the difference? Copper-colored brown, differing in intensity with various tribes according to various localities, but that it is almost impossible to say what that brown color principally resembles. The cinnamon is, in my apprehension, the nearest approach to it, though still too inaccurate for general comparison. So cinnamon, copper-colored, very similar, I would say. I fully coincide in opinion with Dr. McCullough and believe with him that no epithet derivable from the color of the skin so correctly designates the Americans collectively as that of the brown race. Again, the brown race. Alright? Although the Americans thus possess a pervading and characteristic complexion, there are occasional and very remarkable deviations, including all the tints from a decided white to an unequivocally black skin. All
right, so real quick, you know, they're letting us know in that part of the book again. A lot in my old videos, I was trying to point out, you know, the Indians that they never told us about, you know, the dark complexion people, you know, and ones they were comparing to so-called Negroes and almost as black as the black nations, you know, calling Ukraine colors. But they just mentioned there was light-skinned tribes, what he called like white, so-called white, but it was light-skinned shades here too, complexion. There was all kinds of different phenotypes. This is the true old world. This is the true old world.
Black skin. The American nations, or outlines of a national history of the ancient and modern nations of North and South America, says, of this wide western hemisphere, let us retrace the history of all the nations dwelling here. Let us recall the memory. So they're talking about it, all the tribes, right? All the peoples living here. It says, from the University of California Library. This book is from 1836, all right? Characteristics says, there were formerly in America as now tribes of all complexions as elsewhere, yellowish, olive, coppery, tawny, reddened, brown, incarnate or white, and even blackened or Negro-like. Again, blackened or Negro-like. How much more correlation do we need? Continues, says, tall and dwarfish men from 8 to 4 feet in size, called giants and pygmies, men with various frames, skulls, and features of all the sorts found in the Eastern Hemisphere. It says here, American anthropography will teach that there were men of all sizes, features, and complexions in this hemisphere before 1492, notwithstanding the false assertions of many writers who take one nation for the whole American group.
Right, so again, that's already 2-3 different references letting us know there was all kinds of complexions here. So just trying to say, oh, you're not an Indian because you're not dark like me, or you know, there was all kinds of complexions here. And we're not talking about just white. We're not talking about, we're not saying there was white people here like, oh, you think white people. That's not what I'm saying. You know, was there pale skinned people over here? Why not? This is a true old world. Right? Why not? You know, what you think it was just one complexion? Now, in general, as you're gonna see, you know, we've been reading. It was in general copper colored people. Even this light skin was very copper. Even this light skin was like mulatto. You know.
The Ushiks, the Puruais, the Parias, the Chongs, etc., were as white as the Spaniards. Wow, as white as the Spaniards, right? It's interesting to know what these tribes were, or where they came from. says 50 such tribes were found in South America, while many tribes of Choco, the Manabis, the Yaruras, and etc., were as black as Negroes. Right? They were as black as Negroes. All the other shades of brown, tawny, and coppery were scattered everywhere. It says here, there was not a single red man in America, unless painted such. Right? So they're basically telling you it's not that, that tag that they have to the Native American as the red man, that wasn't the case. He's clearly telling you they were more coppery brown, tawny, black as Negroes, not red. All right. Count. This is Verrazano's voyage along the Atlantic coast of North America, 1524. All right. So on page 7 of this book, this account from Giovanni Vasaro, it says here regarding the Indians: some wear certain garlands of feathers or birds. They are dark color, not much unlike the Ethiopians. All right. So he's saying that they're dark in color, just like in Ethiopian. And in those days, we know that Ethiopian was referenced a lot to people of dark skin or dark complexion, or peoples living in lands where it was only people of copper color, like the third Ethiopia or the farthest Ethiopia, right? Continuing says, and hair black and thick. Who has black and thick hair? Not very long, which they tie together back on their head in the shape of a little tail. I have this book. It's called An Inquiry into the Distinctive Characteristics of the Aboriginal Race of America by Samuel George Morton. Alright, so we're going to go into this book just so we can take a look at what he's saying. So right from the beginning of this book, the author clearly explains to us what he's seeing in these regions of the world. It says, it is chiefly my intention to produce a few of the more strikingly characteristic traits of these people to sustain the position that all the American nations, except in the Eskimo, are of one race, and that this race is peculiar and distinct from all others. So he's saying that a lot of the tribes are basically almost one, except the Siberian Eskimos, right? Alright, so it says physical characteristics. It is an adage among travelers that he who has seen one tribe of Indians has seen all. So much do the individuals of this race resemble each other, notwithstanding their immense geographical distribution and those differences of climate which embrace the extremes of heat and cold. The half-clad Fuegian, shrinking from his dreary winter, has the same characteristic lineaments, though in an exaggerated degree, as the Indians of the tropical plains, and these again resemble the tribes which inhabit the region west of Rocky Mountains, those of the great valley of the Mississippi, and those again which skirt the Eskimo on the north. All possess alike the long, lank, black hair, the brown or cinnamon-colored skin, again, brown or cinnamon-colored skin, the heavy brow, the dull and sleepy eye, the full and compressed lips, again, full and compressed lips, and the salient but dilated nose. It cannot be questioned that physical diversities do occur, equally singular and inexplicable, as seen in different shades of color, varying from a fair tint to a complexion almost black. Again, from a fair tint to almost black. When they mean fair, they mean light-skinned, like a light-skinned Negro, right, or black person. And this too under circumstances in which climate can have little or no influence. So also in reference to stature, the differences are remarkable in entire tribes, which moreover are geographically proximate to each other. These facts, however, are mere exceptions to a general rule. Okay, so they're saying this is an exception, though, to a general rule, and do not alter the peculiar physiognomy of the Indian, which is undividingly characteristic as that of the Negro. Alright, so again, he's saying that you cannot doubt that the Indian undividingly has characteristic of that of the Negro. For whether we see him in the athletic Charib or Carib, right, athletic again, or the stunned Chima, in the dark Californian, again dark Californian, or the fair Boroa, he is an Indian still, and cannot be mistaken for being of any other race. He's not African. From the book, The Native Races.
take a little break from the video just to correlate a little bit more. Let's vibe up a little bit real quick. Vibe up. Tabata, Hawa, pura vida. Thank you, Great Spirit. Says here for the Saturday Evening Post, 4 letters on American history by Professor Rafinsky to Dr. J.H. McCullough of Baltimore. To evidence this result in a single but striking point, doubted to this day by superficial inquirers, it is sufficient to mention that there were in America, before Columbus came, nations and tribes of the following complexions: copper, tawny, olive, dusky, white, or pale yellow, white or pale yellow, dark brown, and so-called black, but none red unless painted, and that all these complexions are also found in Asia, in Polynesia, and in Africa. The Native American Negroes or Black Indians have been seen in Brazil, Guyana, Caracas, Popayan, Choco, North California. Some of them, such as the Auroras or Caroras or Cumana, were black, but with fine features and long hair, like the Yolovs and Gayas of Africa, just like the ones in Africa. Others in New California, latitude 32, called Esteros, are like the Hottentots, Numuquas, Tambukis, and many other Negrikian tribes, not black, but dark brown, yet complete Negroes, with large thick lips, broad flat noses, and very ugly, I dodged a hijack, with hair crisp or curly. The Negro features belong to the form of the head rather than the color, since there are in Africa and Asia and Polynesia black, brown, yellow, olive, coppery, and even white Negroes. Even white Negroes. Where in Africa? Even in Africa, there's what? White Negroes and yellow people. We continue with the letters. The American Negroes of Cuarenqua and Choco, great level plain 900 miles long, 90 wide, separating the Andes of South America from the mountains of Panama, were black and with woolly heads in 1506. They are mentioned by D'Angleria and all the early accurate writers. The last 2 travelers who have seen these Negroes are Stevenson, 20 years travels in South America, London, 1825, and Molian travels in Colombia, Paris, 1824. Stevenson says that the Indians of Manabi, comprising the district of Esmeraldas, Rio Verde, and Atacamas on the seashore of Popayan, are all Sambos, and produced by a ship full of Negroes who came in the country before the Spaniards, killed the former inhabitants, kept the women, and formed a mixed race. Now, a lot of these stories in the South America, Central America, they try to say that it's shipwrecked slaves that ended up always shipwrecked on the coast, and that's how there was so-called black people there. So that was their always explanation. But we know, the true old world. We know Mount Roraima. We know the Amazon is right there. We already know who was in there. They're all tall of a blackish color with soft curly hair, large eyes, flat noses, thick lips, while the true Sambos or modern offsprings of Indians and Negroes are of deep copper color with thick hair, not curled, small eyes, sharp noses, and good lips. In Molian, the following notice is found: 2 Indians of Choco, whose true name is Guana or Chuana nations, where D'Anglera's Negroes were found, are very ugly and black, and their language harsh and rough. Some words are given which may be compared with other Negro languages. For instance, man, meora, woman, recupera, amba, numi, compa, ayapa, onambi. Thus, the three great divisions of mankind in regard to their complexion were found in America. But what? All the three great divisions of mankind of complexion were found in America previous to the modern colonization, all right? They were all here, all these complexions already here, the true old world. These three races have erroneously been called white, red, and black. They started naming you crayon colors, white, red, and black. Crayon colors, white, red, and black. Crayon colors, white, red, and black. You still calling yourself by a crayon color? You still referring to crayon colors when you're talking to me? Talking Crayola? Talking about Indian red? Or what you talking about? Crayola, Indian red? What you talking about? What you know about Indian red? What you know about that? It got taken out of the market. Why they take out Indian red, which was basically brown? For which I have proposed to substitute the terms of pale, tawny, and dark, pale, tawny, and dark, which describe them completely, although it is not the color, but rather the features which distinguish them. Much love and respect to Kiowa out there. You know, I understood the presentation, brother. All right, pale, yeah, pale skin people over here before Columbus. The geographical corresponding appellations of Caucasian, Himalayan, and Nigrian races may be equally objectionable, as well as the traditional names of Japheti and Semitic and Ammonian races, because they are based upon theoretical origins, whatever be their names, although once very distinct and probably the three primitive deviations of mankind, they have since, like their primitive languages, become so much entangled, intermixed, and changed, so as to have assumed many other shades: white, whitish, rosy, ruddy, tawny, brown, brownish, blackish, black, ebony. After some 4,000 years of historic period we have is a chronology full of errors and falsehood, unintelligible, incomprehensible. We find the dark races still on the earth. Of their ancient history, absolutely nothing is known, nor does it matter in what region of the globe we first view them. They are confined to no particular zone, all right? They didn't just come out of one place. Everybody didn't just come out of Africa, all right? They're not confined to one zone, but spread as it were from pole to pole, from the Arctic to the Antarctic circle. If the lapse be a dark race, then the dark races exist in Europe. as a race. All right, dark races exist in Europe, Europeans, original. Asia abounds with them. Asia abounds with dark races. Asia, so-called Asia, the farthest east. Africa has always been considered their stronghold, and unquestionably from the Mediterranean shores to Cape Algunhas, the thick-lipped as Copt or Bojiman of all shades, but the fair prevails throughout. But it is in America, all right? It is in America, the last discovered by the civilized European, where we find the stronghold of the colored race, from the land of fire to the icebound polar sea, in America, all right, where we find the stronghold of the colored race in America, the stronghold from the land of fire to the icebound polar sea. Nature had darkened every race unmistakably, nor had the Eskimo or circumpolar races escaped the coloration. He's letting you know even the Eskimos were dark before. All right. Thus, The Races of Men, a fragment by Robert Knox, MD, lecturer on anatomy and corresponding member of the National Academy of Medicine of France. This is from 1850. 1850. All right. Wow, much love and respect to everybody tuned in. Hope you guys are enjoying it. I'm enjoying myself, so I'm not stopping yet, so I'm gonna just keep going. Hope you guys ain't bored. So right now I was going over this website. It's on Flickr, but they have this album, right? They call them Plains Indians. These are Sioux Lakota people, most of them. There is some other people in here, but most of them are Sioux. I've colorized a lot of these pictures. Just wanted to show you a couple. All right. I don't know if you guys remember the colorized versions of these. So I'm gonna show you the colorized versions. Also, I'm gonna show you a little animation, a little cool animation, courtesy of myheritage.com. I'm gonna show you guys how I did it. All right. Yeah. Wow. Yeah, so this is again Lakota Sioux. This is who a lot of the people, be calling Plains Indians or Mongols, and that's what I'm saying. We gotta, see past all that, prejudiced views that we grew up with, that they indoctrinated into us. We all gotta work on it. I gotta work on it. We all gotta work on that. Nobody's perfect. You gotta see past that. You gotta feel the spirit sometimes, man. Vibe with the music, man. Feel the spirit, man. Again, so these are the people we were just looking at in that website. They're being called Plains Indians. All right. Wow. No hijacks allowed. Hey, moderators, don't worry. Get them.
of the Pacific states. He's not African. From the book The Native Races of the Pacific States of North America by Hubert Howie Bancroft. This is volume 1. They classify all the tribes of America, exceeding only the Eskimos who wandered over from Asia, as the American race, and divided into the American family and the Toltecan family. Toltecan. Blumenbach classifies the Americans as a distinct species. The American Mongolidae of Dr. Latham are divided into Eskimos and American Indians. Dr. Morton perceives the same characteristic lineaments in the face of the Fuegian and the Mexican. The Fuegian, and its tribes inhabiting the Rocky Mountains. So again, Dr. Morton perceives the same characteristic lineaments in the face of the Fuegian and the Mexican, and in tribes inhabiting the Rocky Mountains, the Mississippi Valley, and Florida. Okay, again, just like the Fuegian, he's saying. The same osteological structure, swarthy color, or black color, or copper color, so-called Negro, right? Straight hair, meager beard, obliquely cornered eyes, prominent cheekbones, and thick lips are common to them all. Continuing in the bottom says, the great variety of climate which characterizes America could not fail to produce various habits of life. The half-torpid Hyperborean, the fierce warrior hunter of the vast interior forest, the sluggish, swarthy natives of the tropics, again swarthy, black, natives of the tropics, and the intelligent Mexican of the tableland. The Californians, therefore, he calls Malays. So he's comparing these people with the Malays again. And he continues, and the inhabitants of Vancouver Island, British Columbia, Washington, and Oregon, he classifies as Mongolians. So they're a little different, he's saying, right? Californians, in the eyes of this traveler, differ from their northern neighbors in complexion, physiognomy. The only physiological test that Mr. Pickering was able to apply in order to distinguish the Polynesian in San Francisco from the native Californian was that the hair of the former was wavy, while that of the latter was straight. Are you hearing that? Both have more hair than the Oregonian. So he's saying there's I'm telling you straight up, there's two different types of copper-colored tribes there in the California that look, one of them Polynesian with the wavy hair, and then another copper-colored tribe which has straight hair. And he says both have more hair than the Oregonian. The skin of the Malay of the Polynesian islands and that of the Californian are alike. Okay, the skin. He's not saying anything else but the skin. He's saying, look, particularly the skin, right? Again, it says are very dark. Three other analogous characteristics were discovered by Mr. Pickering. Both have an open countenance, one wife, and no tomahawk. On the other hand, the Mongolian from Asia and the Oregonian are of a lighter complexion. They're different and exhibit the same general resemblances that are seen in the American and Asiatic Eskimos. Some ethnologists see in the Californians a stock different from that of any other American race. But the more I dwell upon the subject, the more convinced I am that, except in the broader distinctions, specific classifications of humanity are but idle speculations. Their height rarely exceeds 5 feet 8 inches and is more frequently 5 feet 4 or 5 inches, and although strongly, they are seldom symmetrically built. A low retreating forehead, black, deep-set eyes, thick, bushy eyebrows, salient cheekbones, a nose depressed at the root, and somewhat wide spreading at the nostrils, a large mouth with thick prominent lips, teeth large and white but not always regular, and rather large ears is the prevailing type. And who did that just describe? Their complexion is much darker than that of the tribes farther north, much darker, often being nearly black often being nearly black or black, so-called black, right? Copper colored. So that with their matted bushy hair, which is frequently cut short, they present a very uncouth appearance. At Bodega Bay, they are ugly and brutish race, many with Negro profiles. This is ID page 103. They are physically an inferior race and have flat, unmeaning features, long, coarse, straight black hair, big mouths, and very dark skins. Revere's Tour, page 120. Large and strong, their color being the same as that of the whole territory. Morrill's Journal, page 47. It is said of the natives of the Sacramento Valley that their growth is short and stunted. They have short, thick necks and clumsy heads. The forehead is low, the nose flat with broad nostrils, the eyes very narrow and showing no intelligence, according to them, right? The cheekbones prominent and the mouth large. The teeth are white, but they do not stand in even rows, and their heads are covered by short, thick, rough hair. Who is that? Their color is dirty, yellowish brown. That's their best description. Dirty, yellowish brown, in their racist views. Pfeiffer's Second Journal, page 307. This race of Indians is probably inferior to all others on the continent. Many of them are diminutive in stature, but they do not lack muscular strength, and we saw some who were tall and well formed. Their complexion is dark mahogany. Again, dark mahogany, or often nearly black. Their face is round or square, with features approximating nearer to the African than the Indian. Alright? This is in a historical, anthropological account book from this scholar. Alright? And he's actually using other sources here, not just his source. A wide, enormous mouth, nose is nearly flat, and hair straight. And the sources continue, says, in general, fine stout men, a great diversity of physiognomy was noticeable. It says Pickery's Races in U.S. XX, volume 9, page 105, 107. On the Sacramento were fine, robust men of low stature and badly formed. Wilkes' narration, in U.S. volume 5, page 198. The mouth is very large and the nose broad and depressed, chiefly distinguished by their dark color. Alright, they're chiefly distinguished by their dark color. Broad faces, a low forehead. Haley Ethnologies, volume 6, page 222, says their features are coarse, broad, and of a dark chocolate color. How more specific can that be? Del Sol, La Vida de Junipero, Sarah, page 215. Ugly, stupid, and savage. Otherwise, they are well formed, tolerably tall, and of a dark brown complexion. So even though he's pointing out his racist views, right, he's being completely honest. You can see he's saying ugly, stupid, and savage, right? That's what he thinks, honestly, of them. But he's also letting us know, honestly, that they are of a dark brown complexion. The women, he continues, are short and very ugly. They have much of the Negro in their countenance. Alright, so this guy's a very honest guy. And now he's saying the women have much of the Negro in their countenance. Cousin View's Voyage, volume 1, page 282 and 3. They all have very savage look and are of a very dark color. Again, very dark color, all of them. Beachy's Voyage, volume 2, page 76. At Santa Clara, they are of a blackish color. Again, in Santa Clara, they are of blackish color. They have flat faces, thick lips, and black coarse straight hair. See? Morrill's Voyage, page 212. At Placerville, they are most repulsive looking wretches. They are nearly black, and are exceedingly ugly according to his racist views. Borthwick's 3 years in California, page 128. In the Yosemite Valley, they are very dark colored. In Yosemite Valley, Yosemite National Park, they are very dark colored, the aboriginals from there, and the women are perfectly hideous according to Nealon's book. And continuing even more correlation, it says here, at San Jose, the men are almost all rather above the middling stature and well built. Very few indeed are what may be called undersized. Their complexions are dark but not Negro-like. Some seem to possess great muscular strength. They have very coarse black hair, coarse. Some of the women were more than 5 feet 6 inches in height. And speaking of the Californian Indians in general, they are of a middling or rather of a low stature and of a dark brown color, approaching to black. What does all this mean? Large projecting lips and broad flat Negro-like noses. Again, large projecting lips and broad flat Negro-like noses. Natural, Volume 1, page 249. More swarthy in complexion and of less stature than those east of the Rocky Mountains. So more swarthy in complexion than the ones in the Rocky Mountains, says there. More of the Asiatic cast of countenance than the eastern tribe. Delano's Life on the Plains, page 304. And in the bottom it says, low foreheads and skins, as black as Guinea Negroes. As black as Guinea Negroes. And it says here, skin of such a deep reddish brown, that it seems almost black. It seems almost black to them because it's a deep reddish brown. They have no words for it, right? Continuing, it says their average height is about 5 feet 4 or 5 inches. They are but slimly built and possess but little muscular development. Light brownish red color. So you see all the shades of different brown and so-called black and copper color that we're getting, right? All these different descriptions, the heights, the way they're built, muscular, some are not, right? So there's different nations there, but general rules that they're all copper colored, right? Most of them. Some have a Chinese cast of countenance. Rusty black hair. Smart in Smithsonian Rep 1867, page 418. Their features were flat Negro-like, small-legged, big-bellied, and broad shoulders. Again. Alright, I'm going to read from this book now. It's called The Indian Races of North and South America. This is by Charles D. Wolfe Brownell, published by Boston, Dayton, and Wentworth, 86 Washington Street in 1853. Alright, so continuing a little bit more down, says the most distinguishing peculiarities of the race are the reddish or copper color of the skin, the prominence of the cheekbone, right? And the color and quality of the hair. This is not absolutely straight. It's not straight, but somewhat wavy, alright? It's wavy and has not inaptly been compared to the mane of the horse. Less from its coarseness than from its glossy hue and the manner in which it hangs. Their eyes are universally dark. The women are rather short, with broader faces and a greater tendency to obesity than the men, but many of them possess a symmetrical figure with an agreeable and attractive countenance. Says these people possess all the ordinary characteristics of the American Indian: the copper complexion, black flowing hair, well-proportioned limbs, and keen black eyes. Travelers speak of women as being far more attractive in personal appearance than the generality of the squaws. Our author continues, their color is a copper tint, pleasing to the eye, and the skin, where constantly covered from the sun, is little darker than that of the natives of southern Europe. Alright? So this is a little darker than the natives of the southern Europe. Their hair is straight and coarse, and continues perfectly black till an advanced period of life. The general expression of the face is pleasing, though it varies with the tribe and the disposition of each person. I will read from this book now, Race Relations in Virginia and the Miscegenation in the South, 1776 to 1860 by James Hugo Johnston. Schools says, in all the southern states there are found to be records of cases sent to the courts of appeals in which the litigants attempt to show that they are descendants of Indians and not of Negroes, and hence that they do not fall subject to the slave code. So you can see that from even a long time ago, there was a lot of so-called Negro people that were Indian fighting for their right to be recognized as an Indian, Native American, and that they didn't fall under that slave code laws that they had in the South. These cases add interest to the study of pedigree, but they must be considered as additional evidence of the extensive mixture of racial blood in the slave states. To the visitor in the South, the physical characteristics of many Negro slaves bore witness to their Indian origin. Again, so if you went to the South, he's clearly telling you that you would notice that the physical characteristics of many of the Negro slaves bore witness to their Indian origin. Alright, and it says in the states of South Carolina, early Negro Indian history was much influenced by conditions that resulted from the occupation of the territory to the south by the Spanish. From early times, the Spanish and their Indian allies in Florida stole South Carolina slaves and harbored runaways from the South Carolina plantations.
All right, so that was a big one. I just want to remind everybody what it just said. Just think about that. Spaniards with allied Indians, right? Seminoles were kidnapping South Carolina Indians and enslaving them too, right? This is what I'm trying to explain in some of the videos. We're going to show this in future videos, what was going on. Who were the Spaniards? These weren't white people. All right, let's not forget that. All right, these are people of color teaming up with other people of color, right? And kidnapping other people of color, other tribes that eventually most likely became known as, you know, freedmen in a different way under a different tribe, but they were originally from another tribe, right? So let's just continue real quick.
I'm going to read from this book now. It's called The History of Hernandez Soto in Florida, of records of the events of 56 years from 1512 to 1568 by Barnard Ship, printed in 1881. It says during the 3 days that the Spaniards recruited themselves, they saw on the last day about noon coming from a place full of reeds 7 boats, which advanced towards them. There was in the first a very large and very black Indian, of an aspect very different from those who inhabit the interior of the country. So he's saying that he saw a very large and very black Indian. How more? I mean, put an expression, to the word black. Says very black. So he's emphasizing how black the Indian appeared to him. All right. So what could that mean? The barbarians of the coast are black in this manner. So even the barbarians of the coast are black in this manner, which is very black. This book is called The Ancient Cities of the New World. Travels and Explorations in Mexico and Central America from 1857 to 1882 by Desiree Charnay. All right. The London Chapman and Hall Limited, 1887. I select for myself some masks which portray the various Indian types with marvelous truth and at times not without some artistic skill. So marvelous truth. Among them are types which do not seem to belong to America. A Negro. And it says here, see plate. And this is what they have in the next page. This is the plate I guess they're talking about seeing. See, it says, whose thick lips, flat nose, woolen hair proclaim his African origin. Woolen hair, his African origin. Again, Dutch, the hijack. Like I said, they're not gonna keep reminding. They keep throwing the African word in there when they encounter a so-called Negro or copper-colored person and evidence to prove it. They have to throw it in there because that's all they know. Below this, a Chinese head, Caucasian and Japanese specimens, it says there. Heads with retreating foreheads like those displayed at Palenque, and not a few with Greek profiles, it says there. The lower jaw is straight or projecting. The face is smooth or bearded. In short, it is a wonderful medley, indicative of the numerous races who succeeded each other and amalgamated on this continent, which until lately was supposed to be so new, and is in truth so old. This is the old world. This is Atlantis. This is ancient Egypt. And here we go again. The ancient races were here. It's here in the book North American.
All right, so that was a good reference at letting us know that not only did he find so-called Negro or Negroid mask, he found all these other phenotypes, what he's calling Chinese, Caucasian, Japanese specimens, Greek profiles, all in Palenque in Mexico. All right, there's the true old world.
Indians being letters and notes on their manners, customs, and conditions, written during 8 years travel amongst the wildest tribes of Indians in North America. 1832 to 1839, again by George Catlin. This is volume 1 of this book. It has 2 volumes. Alright. The world know generally that the Indians of North America are copper colored. Right away, right? The world know. The whole world knows generally that the Indians of North America are copper colored. In those times, everybody knew. Continuing, the Indians of North America, as I have before said, are copper colored. Again, copper colored, with long black hair, black eyes, tall, straight, and elastic in number, were originally the undisputed owners of the soil, and got their title to their lands from the Great Spirit who created them on it. So where did they get their title for the land? From Hawa, from the Most High, the Great Spirit. So they are aboriginal to this land, and this land is theirs, given to them, right? The lots were split. Do you guys remember that? And it continues, says, were once a happy and flourishing people, enjoying all the comforts and luxuries of life which they knew of, and consequently cared for. Were 16 million in numbers, and sent that number of daily prayers to the Almighty, and thanks for His goodness and protection. So he's saying if there were 16 million, that's how many prayers were going daily. All of them were giving thanks to the Most High, or Hawa, right, for His goodness and His protection. Who does that sound like? And continuing right after the last passage in the same page, it says, the reader will at once see by the above facts that there is enough upon the faces and heads of these people to stamp them peculiar when he meets them in the heart of this almost boundless wilderness, presenting such diversities of color in the complexion and hair. Some different types of shades, different colors, not just, we are seeing the general copper color, but there is light-skinned, or as they call them, mulattoes in other records. And corroborating with what I just said, he's going to say it. When he knows what he has seen and what he has read, that all other primitive tribes known in America are dark copper colored with jet black hair.
All right. Bear with me. I'm in the book here from the Smithsonian Institution Bureau of American Ethnology, Bulletin 73. It says the early history of the Creek Indians and their neighbors by John R. Swanson. All right. And it says here on page 43, it says the Spaniards have visited several regions of that vast country, and they're like, I believe, in the area of South Carolina, North Carolina, where they first arrived in the 1500s. You caught my past videos. They're called Arambi, Guaycaya, Cuajate, Tansaca, and Pajor. Do you know the name? Do you ever heard of these names, these tribes? The color of the inhabitants is what? Dark brown. The color of the inhabitants is dark brown. None of them have any system of writing, but they preserve traditions of great antiquity in rhymes and chants. So we got inhabitants who are dark brown, who be rhyming and chanting. Rhyming, right? Rhyming, freestyling, chanting, rhymes, dark brown. Put it together. Dancing and physical exercises are held in honor, and they are passionately fond of ball games. They're very fond of ball games. Who does this sound like? Let's go again. Inhabitants are dark brown, right? They pass their time in rhymes and chants, and they're very fond of ball games, in which they exhibit the greatest skill. They're very good at it too. Alright, they're very good at it. They're fond of ball games, and they're very good at it. They're dark brown. Their complexion is dark brown, and they be rhyming. Who they talking about, so-called Negro? All right, so we got this book. It says here, a voyage of discovery into the South Sea and Bering Straits for the purpose of exploring a northeast passage undertaken in the years 1815, 1818, at the expense of His Highness the Chancellor of the Empire, Count Romanov, in the ship Rurik, under the command of the lieutenant in the Russian Imperial Navy, Otto von Kotzebue. All right, this is volume 1, 1821. And it says here, the coast of California is inhabited by so many tribes, that there are frequently in the mission Indians of more than 10 different races, each which has its own language. All right. As we were leaving the mission, we were surprised by two groups of Indians, which were also composed of different nations. They were different. They came in military array, that is, quite naked, and painted with gay colors. The head of the most were adorned with feathers and other finery. Some of them, however, had their long, disordered hair covered with down, and their faces daubed in the most frightful manner. There is nothing remarkable in their war dance, and I only regretted that I did not understand the words of their song. The physiognomy of these Indians is ugly, stupid, and savage. Otherwise they are well formed, tolerably tall, and of a dark brown complexion. Dark brown complexion. The women are short and very ugly. They have much of the Negro in their countenance. Again, they have much of the Negro. They have much of the Negro, so-called Negro. You see what I'm reading to you? You see what is written in this book in 1821? They're talking about the Indians of California. They're telling you this is different people. There's different tribes here. There's different people here. There's light-skinned tribes and there's people with dark brown complexion. And the women of these men are much of the Negro in their countenance, have much of the Negro in their countenance. We're in this book, the Smithsonian Institute Bureau of American Ethnology, Bulletin 143. Says here, Handbook of South American Indians. Julian H. Stewart, editor, Volume 6, Physical Anthropology, Linguistics, and Cultural Geography of South American Indians. It says here, the Colorado, also Chibchan, have a reddish skin color. This is to some extent accentuated by their custom of painting their faces and bodies a bright red with a color obtained by grinding the seeds of the achiote plant. Hagen, 1939, states that these Indians have generally a lighter skin color than other tribes of the upper Amazon region. The tribes living in the present country of Peru are dark brown. Again, the tribes living in the present country of Peru are dark brown, according to Eberhardt's 1910 observations. The Ayamara, living in the Andean highlands of Peru, have been studied by Macmillan, 1927, who speaks of them as having a swarthy brown to coppery skin or even a dark olive color. Again, swarthy brown to coppery, swarthy black, dark, swarthy brown to coppery skin or even a dark olive color. Again, the Peruvians, the Ayamara, Inca, swarthy brown to coppery skin or even a dark olive color, some being lighter with a yellowish hue, All right. You want to get a copyright for that song? I think that song gave me a copyright. They took out the audio on that video that's on YouTube. Again, that's actually from part one of American Indian True Historic Descriptions, never before seen photographs and images. There's two parts of that. Go make sure to get the rest. We've gone over a lot of books so far today. I just want to go over some links here that I had saved. Just put on the music iPod. Sorry about that. All right, it says here, Confederated Peoria. All right. So the Confederate Peoria were originally a group of independent related tribes from the Illinois region. Most supported the French during the French and Indian War and suffered for it. All right, because they helped the French. Who's these French? These French, so-called French. Remember, who's these French? Remember, we got to break that mentality to think that all these people were just white people. A lot of the Sephardic Jews, a lot of the Huguenots, a lot of the Muslims, a lot of these Spaniards and so-called very dark Portuguese were the French. All right, so they suffered because they helped. The Peoria suffered because they helped them. These tribes split during the American Revolution, with some support in Britain and some the colonies. Between war and disease, the Peoria, Pinkesha, Wea, and Kaskaskia had all suffered heavy population loss. The anthropologist James Mooney suggested that Confederated Peoria's combined population peaked at around 5,000. By 1804, it was estimated in a Spanish report that there were only 50 Peoria men left. By 1818, the surviving Peoria united with the remaining Kaskaskia. The same year, the Pianesha and Wea survivors united. By then, the two united bands had been removed to southwest Missouri. A new treaty was signed, removing them further west into the area of permanent Indian frontier, Kansas Territory, and later Oklahoma. The group started moving on their own before the treaty was even ratified by Congress. All right, and this is a Peoria American Indian. All right, take a look at that. How you guys enjoying it? We live, baby. Wow. We got a Sioux Indian smoking, it says here, dress, Dakota, Great Plains. They would call him a Plains Indian. Dodge the hijack. Right here we got some Caribs at home preparing cassava according to primitive methods in St. Vincent Island in the Caribbean. Some Carib people. All right. And we're reading from Life Among the Texas Indians, the WPA narrative by David LaVere. As to the Chickasaw and Choctaw and Comanche, wild tribes of Indians in the fall of 1868, after the Civil War, there was a band of Comanche Indians who came back into the Choctaw Nation and camped in what is now Atoka City in Atoka County, Oklahoma. The purpose of this band was to trading with the Choctaws and the Chickasaws for permission to hunt in what is now Otaka County. Meat consisting of deer, turkey, squirrels, and fish. Game being scarce in the Comanche Reservation. Governor Allen Wright, Leon Harkins, and William Atoka. Choctaw Indians, Reverend J.S. Muro. Missionary among the Choctaws, Captain Hester, representing the Choctaw and Chickasaw Nation, met the Comanche band and their chief of leader, Atoka, and went into an agreement giving the Comanche Indians privilege of hunting on certain grounds, beginning at the mouth of McGee Creek and extending north to what is now known as Brushy Creek in Pittsburgh County, extending west to what is known as to the mouth of Caney Creek or Middle Boggy, extending south to South Boggy to the mouth of Delaware Creek, and extending east back to the mouth of McGee Creek. This was for 90 days for the privilege of hunting under certain agreement that they were not to bother or molest anyone in this certain district, with the understanding that they were to establish their camp at Flint Spring. This spring was named for George Flint, who lived at this place northwest of Atoka City. They had what is known as 2 light hacks that they had traded or gotten from the people of Texas. They also had packed ponies, camping outfits, or wigwams to live in while on a trip, and wigwams. They had bows and arrows pointed with flint and stone arrowheads. In those days, the Creek Indians from Brush Hill west of Okmulgee along the Canadian River were in the habit of coming into the northern part of what is now Atoka County and Pittsburgh County for the purpose of hunting wild game without permission from the Choctaw and Chickasaw government. On August 2nd, 1937, there was a human skeleton discovered deposited in a crevice of limestone rock in Atoka County. This location being within the boundary of the hunting grounds in which the Comanche Indians were permitted to use as their hunting grounds for 90 days. At the time permission was given, a band of Creek Indians was hunting in different locations in Pittsburgh County without permission. So these Creek Indians were hunting without permission, which caused some trouble between the Choctaw and the Creek Indians. In all probability, the Comanche Indians at their usual hunting season camped at this particular place. The human skull and skeleton shows that probably he was a Negro Indian. Oh, a Negro Indian, huh? Type, and indicated that he was shot with a bow and arrow. The arrowhead being the type the Comanches used. The point of the arrowhead entering the body extends into the backbone, and the point of the arrowhead still remains in the backbone of the skeleton. Beads and other ornaments found with the skeleton show the type that a Creek Negro Indian wore in those days. This shows that probably there was a battle between the Creeks and the Comanche Indian hunters at this location. In 1934, there was a human skull found a short distance upstream from this location on Buck Creek. This was from John Ward, Choctaw Chickasaw, volume 67, page 36. Alright, this is an Arawakan girl. Not exactly sure the country is in Dutch. Read this real quick. Says here, anthropometric case materials on a Shinnecock Indian family of Eastern Island. Photographs, pedigree, field notes, and physical measurements. All right. Shinnecock. Shinnecock. National Museum of Health and Medicine. Fair use. Shinnecock. The Atacapa. The Atacapa are an indigenous people of the southwestern woodlands who spoke the Atacapa language and historically lived along the Gulf of Mexico. The competing Choctaw people used this term for this people, and European settlers adopted the term from them. The Atacapan people were made up of several bands. They called themselves the Ishak, or Isaac, Ishak, Itza, Ishak, Isaac, which translates the people, Within the Ishak, there were two moieties, which the Ishak identified as the supreme people. All right, and this is an image. I'm gonna show you this one they got right here. Right. All right, Atacapa Indian. This is the Lake Charles Atacapa Cannibals period of 1817 to 1820 by Joseph O. Dyer from 1917. Says here, an attack and acute dysentery compelled Graham to spend a week at the village, and thus we have an interesting description handed down to us. Graham became later associated at New Orleans within the writer's father. The savages, who were the coastal clan of interior tribes, were of a very low type of civilization. They were dark-skinned. Again, they were dark-skinned with dirty, short, coarse, black, matted hair. Coarse, black, matted hair, dark skin. Their bodies stout, stature short, and heads of large size placed among between the shoulders. All right. Dark skin, the Atacapa. The Atacapa. Martha's Vineyard, the other tribe, they don't have federal recognition, they don't have land, but the Chippewaquitic tribe of the Wampanoag Indian nation has not disappeared into the mist of time. Says here, the Ponkapoags were a local tribe, most of its members dwelling in the Canton and Stoughton area. All right, this is in Massachusetts. One of the last full-blooded Ponkapoags were Daniel Crowd. We have scant information about him, beyond the fact that he had married an African-American lady named Betsy Diggin. Oh, so-called African-American. What's her genealogy, really? And that they had a daughter, Mary Emily. In 1860, the family moved from Canton to Milton, settling in Blue Hill Village at the corner of Canton Avenue and Harlan Street, not far from where Mingo once had lived. All right. So, now we read about Mary Crouch Chappelle. All right, Mary Crouch Chappelle. That's her. A so-called Negro. Upon Mary Chappelle's death, the largely obscure but irrefutable public record of Ponkapoags and Milton's western side comes to a close. Meanwhile, for us mildly envious East Miltonians, save for Native Americans in the early 1600s, with whom Richard Collicutt and John Holman traded fur just off today's Adams Street, there was otherwise little such romantic Indian lore to boost in our history, that is, until the arrival of the very colorful Denise Muse. Denise was a full-blooded Native American, just not one who had been native to our town, or for that matter, to our national boundaries. For Denny was a member of the Mi'kmaq, a tribe of the Canadian Maritimes and northern Maine. Their name is more formally given as Mi'kmaq, which comes from a word meaning my friends, aptly befitting the gregarious Denise Muse, whom the Boston Globe in 1909 describes as one of the jolliest. All right, so he's a Ponkapoag people, and that's her right here, Mary Crouch Chappelle. Right. And it says here, on this site lived the last Indian princess in Ipswich, that's in Massachusetts, Emma J. M. Safford, direct descendant of Massasoit, for whom Massachusetts was named Massasoit. The Massasoit, Manasseh. Massasoit and his brother Quadekina are believed to be the two kings who attended with a guard of 50 armed men that met Captain Thomas Dermer of Pokanoket in May 1619. Massasoit became an ally of the Plymouth colony and helped them survive that first winter, still commemorated today as Thanksgiving. Gosh, the hijack. Massasoit, he tried to make good for his people. He tried to do treaty, and these weren't white people. Pilgrims were not just white people. Future video. All right, I've shown a little bit of on some people's genealogy going back to the Mayflower. Yeah, so-called Negro people. Massasoit was there, right? Who met the Pilgrims. So Emma Safford of Ipswich, which is this person right here, she was a direct descendant of Massasoit. Right? Emma. We've colorized her pictures. We've shown a lot of images of her. This is her right here in 1872 at 26 years of age. A direct descendant of Massasoit. All right. Looking like some of my Cape Verdean people out there. What's the relation? All right, this is her, Safford, in front of her family home on Green Street, which was across from the present town hall. All right, that's her right here. We have this picture colorized. I'm going to show you guys that one day. Emma Jane's daughter, Emma Safford, was born in 1879 and spent her life here in Ipswich. After her mother died in the early 1920s, she and her sister Sylvia continued to live in the family home across from the Ipswich Town Hall on Green Street. Sylvia died in 1938. All right, talking about Wampanoag Indians. Jacob Safford was Emma Jane Mitchell Safford's husband. Their daughter Emma lived until 1958 in the family home on Green Street. Gotta do your genealogy. Jacob Safford occasionally performed minstrel shows, left to right. Jacob and his wife Emma Jane Safford, daughter Sylvia, and daughter Emma, the last of the family, who lived until 1958. Emma Safford. Princess Safford. Direct descendant of Massasoit. Direct descendant of Massasoit.
John Eliot was
wind. The wind of the Bible is the Spirit, the Holy Spirit. And so with these words, Wabin received them, and it was his conversion. When this particular lands of Natick was given, it was given from the people, the native people on the land, which was John Speed.
The massive Indian population.
All right, Natick Indian of Massachusetts. All right. So we're just gonna go into another part of this video because it's getting late. So let me just get that ready real quick. All right, let me show you guys first how this was done. Let me just put on the music again. And get some wolves coming in. So I've been telling you, I showed you guys how I've been colorizing the images. All right, sorry about that. Show you guys how I've been colorizing the images on My Heritage. You know, you gotta pay for it. You know, it's pretty expensive, but for me, it's well worth it. You know, especially for so we can be able to do things like this. And, you know, if it has to be me, it doesn't matter. I'll do it. So this is one of the this is the person in the cover of the video. As you can see here, this was colorized. These are an Apache American family from actually the Jicarilla Apache clan. And this is the person in the cover of the video today. Let me just go quick. All right. So this is her right here. All right, so we go back. So it does pretty good job. I have a lot of photos here already uploaded, so I can just pick and I can just colorize it for us and animate it. So I just click on this animate thing and let me just show you what it does. You guys see that? All right, so I'm gonna show you her and some other ones. All right. So again, they'll grab a black and white picture. They'll go ahead and colorize it for you, fix it up. You know, you can animate some of them. Wait here until it so letting me pick a face. Sometimes it does a good job. Sometimes it's hard, you know, the pixelation and everything, but it tries to do a good job. And this is what we get. All right. Wow. Yeah, I thought the same. It was a little, it is a little scary, you know. I thought the same thing. It's a little creepy, and then, but you know, I think eventually everybody's gonna start doing this. You know, everybody's gonna start animating their pictures and everything. So I just wanted to show you guys, you know, so you can get a more feeling about this. I know I got mixed feelings about it too. You know, a lot of them didn't want it, but some of them were smiling in the pictures. All right, you see that? Incredible, right? Incredible, right? So I got a whole series coming up with this, just with animated pictures. I got that coming up. So this is a little sneak peek today. All right. So that's him. This is again, this is Apache man and a young boy. They're all Apache. All right. And this is how they colorize the pictures again. So I can just pick any right there. All right. Just real quick, this is some of the pictures I got from the Harvard album today. I've actually colorized these people before. So he was in the album as well. She was in the album as well. All right. All right, here they go right here. All right, so that was a close-up of them. All right, so you guys ready? You guys ready to be creeped out a little bit more? All right, just honor and remember the ancestors and, you know, all good intentions. You know, thank you, Great Spirit. Wow, O great spirit, whose voice I hear in the winds, and whose breath gives life to all the world. Hear me, I need your strength and wisdom. Let me walk in beauty and make my eyes ever hold the red and purple sunset. Make my hands respect the things you have made, and my ears sharp to hear your voice. Make me wise so that I may understand the things you have taught my people. Let me learn the lessons you have hidden in every leaf and rock. Help me remain calm and strong in the face of all that comes towards me. Help me find compassion without empathy, overwhelming me. I seek strength not to be greater than my brother, but to fight my greatest enemy, myself. Make me always ready to come to you, with clean hands and straight eyes, for when life fades as the fading sunset, my spirit may come to you without shame. Translated by Lakota Sioux Chief Yellowlark in 1887. A Ute prayer. Treat the earth well. It was not given to you by your parents. It was loaned to you by your children. We do not inherit the earth from our ancestors. We borrow it from our children. code of prayer. Wakantanka, great mystery. Teach me how to trust my heart, my mind, my intuition, my inner knowing, the senses of my body, the blessings of my spirit. Teach me to trust these things so that I may enter my sacred space and love beyond my fear, and thus walk in balance with the passing of each glorious sun. right, just wanted to go ahead and stop the animation photos for now. We're gonna end it for tonight. Just wanna go ahead and put some music before we end it here. So I hope you guys enjoyed this presentation. Getting late for all of us, right? And you know, we don't want to make Patricia too upset, you know, tonight. You know, that might hurt your liver. Don't be getting all upset like that, Patricia. You know, don't mess up your liver and stuff, you know. It's okay to be humble. It's okay. Just breathe. Take a deep breath. Just breathe. Everything's okay. Everything's okay. You can bring all your negativity, but it ain't gonna affect us tonight. We tribing up tonight. We tribing up. Hope you guys enjoyed the presentation. You know, it's not easy uploading our pre-recorded videos. I got my day job, you know, and the rest of the things, my responsibilities I gotta do and everything. But just wanted to go ahead and put this presentation out there for the new subscribers. You know, a lot of them don't have this info yet. They didn't know this, or they weren't able to see this. And also wanted to show you guys those animated pictures. Pretty cool. Same time, pretty creepy, but as long as we doing it with the good intentions and being guided by the Great Spirit, you know, put everything in the Great Spirit's hands. You know, what must be, right? And so wherever you are in the world right now, you know, whatever time it is, you know, thank you for being here. Great Spirit bless you. Awa bless. And enjoy the rest of your night. Thanks for being here. Thanks to everybody in the chat. Thanks for everybody who donated. Much love and respect to everybody. Even you, Patricia. Much love and respect. You know. Kiowa. Blazer 71, man, you were here from the beginning. A lot of you were here from the beginning. That was long, huh? 3 hours, huh? Man. I'm gonna go chill with my family a little bit. All right. You're welcome, Patricia. You're welcome.